Hello everyone, welcome to our usually Thursday night D&D session, but we had to reschedule due to technology failing the DM. Rescheduled to this Monday. We're going to stream this session where we follow the adventures of a group of individuals who do not technically have a group name yet, but there definitely is one. It just has not been assigned to them as such. The party is currently in the holy city of Stormhaven, where they're assisting in the coronation of the new monarch of Stormhaven, one Anastasia Hess. There have been rumors of a possible assassination attempt against her, and they were hired by the crown to protect the queen-to-be. Some shenanigans did take place where the party was, let's say, getting accustomed to the high life. It suited some more so than others. But anyway, you guys, for the most part, look very dapper, very nice, very well put together, clean for once. It's nice. And you guys have just met the coronation party in the sort of foyer of the castle. And you're about to sort of proceed to the Temple of the Aspects and the One, which is situated at the highest point in Stormhaven. Okay. I think you actually got into the temple itself. I might have been misremembering that last session. Excuse me.
I think we did get the temple, yes.
Which I just totally forgot. But anyway, so you were walking these streets in the order I described to you earlier. Anastasia in front, behind her, sort of flanking on either side, is Alaric and Leave. Behind those two is your group, arrayed, I guess, in a sort of line or semicircle. And then behind you is a group of nobles, one of which is at their head is a man named Norath, who is, some would call him a patriot. But anyway, so you approach the Temple of the Aspects of the One, and you notice that it is the doors on it are massive, almost equal in size, if not slightly bigger, than the ones in the ones at the castle, at Castle Dauntless. These doors are also, unlike the castle, these doors are pure mithril, similar to how the gates of the city are, but sort of carved or set into the mithril are scenes of devotion to Arya. Essentially is the creation myth, detailing the creation myth of this world. And taking everything in, it's a bit overwhelming, but nevertheless, you guys press onward. The rest of the nobles sort of hang back at the doorway with Leave. The only ones that proceed into the temple are yourselves, Alaric, and Anna. Okay. So you enter into this temple that's sort of set into the mountain. And you see, this is a spoiler for people who are watching the streams, you see a number of things inside. Sorry, dude, some. Okay. You see this sort of, it's all stone, similar to most of the buildings in Stormhaven, but it's polished to a degree you haven't seen before, almost like a mirror-like shine to it. There's a walkway leading up to a sort of raised platform. This walkway is mithril. Flanking the walkway are large columns that seem to go up into the darkness. There's natural light here, amazingly enough. It seems they sort of drilled into the mountain to allow light to get into the temple, and it's going through stained glass windows, which are past the pillars. And the stained glass is decorating the walls of this temple. Set into the walls are various alcoves. I believe there's 12 to be exact. No, 16. Wait, maybe more, 20. Let's go with 18. Yep, 18. 18 alcoves. And in these alcoves are statues depicting the aspects. Who is good at religion?
I think I... Yep.
Alright. Make a religion check here, Alistair, or anyone else that wants to. Okay. So do you have advantage on religion rolls on, or do you just roll a 3?
Oh, no, I just rolled a 3.
So you've been to many temples in Stormhaven on it, but you haven't been to the Temple of the Aspects. And the one, it's sort of it's a very holy site. And you didn't feel like it was appropriate for you to go there. Like, not in a bad way, like, not like you're not worthy, but like, you didn't have a reason to. I think I said it earlier, like, if you really need to, like, speak to the gods to make something happen, you go to this temple. And one of the priests there prays with you. Sorry, further details. Looking past at the raised platform, you see a giant sphere that's sort of, that's also made with mithril, maybe plated with mithril, maybe even solid mithril, but it's just there floating at the top of this raised platform, the altar, if you will. Standing next to that is a rather old-looking man with a large beard and a bald head in just simple robes. And you can see that he has a sort of a faint smile, even from this distance, thanks to the lighting.
Can I take a look around to see if there's anybody hiding in the...
Yes, you can.
Could somebody roll a perception check for me? Because I can't do it. Also, yeah, somebody's probably going to have to control tower on roll 20 because I can't access it.
Okay, I can temporarily allow someone else to do that. Who would like to?
What's the modifier?
It's +5. Let me let someone who wants the honors.
The prison.
18.
I'm looking for sneaky.
All you see are you see a number of things, Tara. You do see that these pillars, due to the lighting, cast long shadows, but there doesn't appear to be anyone in them. You see a number of like side rooms, but you can't exactly see what's in them. Let's see, what else will you see? You notice that, I don't know if you've been to a temple of any of the aspects in Amaranthine, but you're used to only seeing elven representations of the aspects. Here, and this is also to go with Alistair's religion check, the depictions of the aspects are a lot more varied, almost as if they tried to incorporate different races. Because from what you know, this is how the check plays out, Alistair. From what you know, people project their likeness onto the aspects, or female, the women of their race onto the aspects. So, for example, if you were in a gnomish town or city, the aspects would look like gnomes. If you were in the dwarven town or city, like Khazar el-Dûn, they would look like dwarves. Amaranthine, elves. But here it's a lot more varied. You see elves, you see humans, you see dwarves, you see a dragonborn, you see a number of different interpretations of the aspects. And in front of each of the statues that are set in these alcoves are sort of like a plinth or a dais, I don't know, a raised sort of circular thing, and there's a bowl there. And inside that bowl you can see sort of various offerings that have been presented to each of these aspects. There's a faint sense of incense in the air as well. It's pleasant to the nose as you guys approach the altar.
Okay.
Your religion check would also notice that a sphere or a circle is generally how they denote Arya. That's her sort of symbol. Her being the creator of everything, the all-encompassing one. That's how they sort of depict that. So she doesn't really, they don't really project themselves onto Arya herself. It's considered taboo to do that. Similar to how it's considered taboo to name yourself either Arya or any of the aspects' names.
Okay.
All right, so we're taking all this in. Who would like permission to control, or who would like to control Tara?
I can do.
Okay, let me give you permission. Okay, she should be able to see that. Now let me know if there's anything that you can't do. This Onid, you would recognize this high priest. Well, not recognize, but you know of him. His name is Delin Pirani, and he's been the High Priest of Stormhaven for just about as long as you can remember. It's very old and frail man. But you guys are approaching. You get within about 15 feet of the altar, and then Alaric and Leave just stop. And Anna is the only one that begins to or continues to walk forward towards the altar. And then she kneels at the altar and clasps her hands, and it looks like she's beginning to pray. And Dallin Pirani is sort of, he's walked down the altar and is standing next to her. You think it might be difficult for him to crouch or kneel due to his age. Luckily, he's so wizened, he's like in a permanently like hunched over sort of subservient stance. So he has that going for him.
The old man stance.
But so it's about just 10 minutes of just awkwardly standing around, taking in the sights of the temple. You guys looking at each other. You looking at the backs of Alistair and Leave. Looking at the backs of Anastasia. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just want to mention that Tara is being extremely vigilant.
Okay. And then all of a sudden, you hear they're praying in whispered, hushed tones. So you know they're saying something, but it's very quiet. But then they sort of finish praying, and there's this light almost that begins to concentrate and descend, and it rests on Anna's shoulders. I'm sorry. Yeah, so first off, out of character, Tara still has control of her own character. I just added you as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And did you want to say something out of character or in character, Alistair? If you're familiar with the Bible, where like Jesus gets baptized in the water, and like essentially God comes down and is like, I'm pleased with my son. It's very reminiscent of that. It's what's happening here.
Okay, but this isn't terribly like out of the realm of possibilities.
You haven't seen this before, but it looks like she has earned the aspect's favor.
Ooh.
Is what you can interpret that as.
Okay then.
And she, once that happens, she sort of stands up. The glow and light fades. And she begins walking towards you, and then passes you, and then your sort of whole convoy turns to follow her. Except the High Priest has inserted himself next to Alaric, like in between Alaric and Leave. And so you guys are walking back out of the temple. Everything seems to be on the up and up. and as you're about to leave, out of a side door looks like a row of priests that are sort of hunched over in prayer, and they're approaching the altar, but they're also walking down this mithril pathway, so they'll be passing you.
Now's when Anand starts paying attention.
Is
Do they all look like the same? Are they all, like in the same posture, saying the same things, etc.?
Yeah, I also want to inspect their gait for anything unusual.
All right. You can do perception. So you're looking for anything unusual about their persons. On it, what are sorry, Tara. On it, what are you looking for specifically?
Anand is looking for anyone who doesn't seem to be quite in step with the ritual, or someone who doesn't look like this isn't something that they've done, a bunch of times.
Okay.
Someone who doesn't quite fit in.
Go ahead and roll perception checks. You can't tell them apart. And Tara, due to the voluminous nature of the robes, it's hard to see if they have anything underneath those. Let's see here. And so your groups are passing each other. One headed towards the altar, your group headed away and towards the exit. So the only one that would notice this then is, let's see, Tara might too. Yes. Okay. So Tara and Alistair, because your passive perceptions are so high, you notice this.
Okay.
That you notice two things actually. You know that these priests gave you your group an almost imperceptible glance as they passed you, and then you notice that the high priest has jumped towards Anna. And I'd like everyone to roll initiative.
Is there a map for this, or are we using the?
Yes, there's a map for this.
Okay.
Sorry, let me move it
I
to
guess we should wait for that then, because the initiative is going to change on the board.
There we go. And you also notice that as this individual is jumping towards Anna, these priests that you assume were priests are turning and beginning to thrust their weapons towards you that they had hidden under their robes. Alright, initiatives for everyone. We got Onyx got a 9.
Can mirror image target other people? I wonder.
Aja has 11, Tara has a 7, and who am I missing? Alistair? Missing Alistair here.
The 9.
Okay. So unfortunately for the people that are not Alistair and Tara, you are surprised.
Ooh.
So let me roll for these boys. That's not it. There it is.
Well, I'm glad they rolled better than all of us.
This is horrible.
I haven't seen what they rolled yet.
This is real bad. Like,
They might roll worse than us. Who knows? Oh no, they didn't.
oh no, they definitely did not.
I was in here twice. Oh wait, this guy clicked on her token. I have so many tabs open. There we go. Okay, got it. We're good. Okay. So Assassin 1, rounds on you. Aja, you being the clip. Actually, no, they'll probably all attack diagonally from them because they're like right here actually now. So just attack you guys. This is more like this. Also, I forgot to mention, Leaves not. I was mistaken. Leaves not here. The High Priest and Alaric are like shoulder to shoulder. I was in front of them. Okay. So it's essentially just going to attack across them at you guys.
Would none of us have been on Anna's other side?
No. You sort of maintain the formation that you guys had sort of entered and walked up in. So this is actually more like this. Okay. Anyway, Assassin 1, they're going to attack straight across from each other. He's going to go... Meh. He rolled 8 to hit, so that's not going to do it. I don't know why I have audible damage on.
Assuming that's the one attacking me, because it says Assassin 1.
Yeah. So basically, how this looks is...
I did not mean to do that.
Yes, cast light. Basically, so what it looks like is, they are... Tara, you see this, and Alistair does too, and Alaric does too. But basically, they walk as soon as they sort of like get parallel to you or perpendicular, that sort of thing. Essentially, like as soon as they're matched one up against each of you, they sort of turn in unison and thrust their palms at you, and you see that they have like a blade hidden at their wrist that they're attacking you with. And as they do that, there's like a shimmer of light, and then their guise as a priest has fallen, or rather, you see through the deception now, and you see figures clothed and cloaked in black, with masks
Oh,
over
like
their
our
faces.
good buddies.
Now these are different individuals. These people have like masks on their faces. They look a bit more well prepared than random bandits on the side of the road. So he straight up misses you, Tara. Assassin 2 is going to try to attack Aja. I'm sorry. Yeah, they would stay here. Okay. Assassin 2's gonna attack. Make with the stab. He rolled a 22 to hit for 9 piercing damage.
Okay.
And what Alaric will do on his turn is 2 things. So he notices that the high priest is like leaping towards Anna. A strange lights sort of emanating from his palm. And he sort of grabs him by the collar and just throws him to the side. So now I'll roll strength to determine how far he throws him. Athletics. Okay. So he would throw him on the other side, so he can shield him. So he can shield his sister. So he throw him like down here. And then with that, he would also say, stand firm, friends. You and the impregnable shield. None of us will die this day. And his voice carries a power of conviction with it, so much so that you guys get 12 temporary hit points.
Ooh.
Nice. Thanks, my dude.
What a nice guy.
I forgot. I'll just have Anna go on Alaric's turn. She has sort of like moved closer to Alaric so that he can shield her better. Assassin 4, being next to 2 choice targets. He will move to attack because Alaric's sort of blocking his way to Anna, giving her like 3 force cover. He will attack Onid and Alaric instead. So he goes to thrust with his hidden blade at Onid, and then goes to slash at Alaric with a short blade. Don't tell me I... Oh, there it is. First one's against Onid. 12 to hit.
13 is my AC.
Ah, got it. And then against Alaric. Oh my god, that actually hits Alaric. You roll a 20. You roll a 20 fucking 4. Okay.
Well, thanks for not rolling that against me, bro.
So, he manages to find a gap in Alaric's armor. Right, I'll flavor it this way. So he's trying to thrust past Alaric to stab Anna, and he finds a vector that will enable him to murder Anna, essentially. But Alaric moves himself in the way and gets stabbed in the back instead. Alright, now here comes the big boy. So he begins speaking in that strange, horrible mishmash on it that you recognize as a mixture of celestial and infernal. It's like simultaneously pleasing yet like grating and horrible to the ears. It's just the juxtaposition is just horrible, and they shouldn't go together.
And And she can understand both celestial and infernal, so
Yeah. So it's like it's weird how they combine it, but he's essentially saying something like, kill them all. Let the blood run in these streets. And he is going to cast a spell, which will be so he points at Anna and these like almost in like a you know how you do finger guns when you're young where you go pew pew pew, except he doesn't go pew pew, he just says burn, and he he shoots, for lack of a better term, 3 rays at Anna, which are intercepted by Alaric's large body.
Would you describe these rays as scorching?
I would. They are certainly hot. They are filled with heat, so much where they might scorch the skin or flesh of someone if they come in contact with them. Oh, none of them hit though. So maybe it's due to Alaric's armor or the divine protection in this place, but they impact against Alaric's armor, leaving just singe marks, and he is like visibly agitated now, like stomping his foot, saying like, "No, no, no, no!" Aja, time to get to work.
Now, is this like an elevated footpath so you can't move perpendicular
No, you
to
can. It's set into the floor. Like this is all like one smooth surface. Like there's no. The only thing that's elevated is right here. These stairs here. All this back here is elevated. Sorry. Let me draw. That's a shape. I don't want that. This is elevated right here, because you see the stairs here. These are pillars right here. So those are, you can't go through those, because those go up to the ceiling, obviously. And back here, these are the alcoves where the statues are at. And these are some of the side rooms I told you about, right here. Other than that, you can go anywhere you want. The door is obviously this way. That's the way.
Was Assassin 2 the fucker that hit me?
Oh yeah. You can tell this is a person confident in their abilities of stabbing people. Oh shit, that's right. Aja, you're surprised. Your turn is...
Were we all surprised?
The only ones that weren't were Alaric, Alistair, and Tara. So technically your turn is like, you're in the surprise condition, so your turn is essentially just skipped. I'm sorry, I forgot.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Assassin 3 is going to round on Alistair and try to stab him with his hidden blade as well. 16 to hit.
16. 16 just hits.
Oh, he didn't roll. He only rolled 4 damage though, with the absolute minimum of damage.
You almost broke skin with that one.
Yeah, it's you still have the temporary HP too, so it's like, oh, did you feel a sting? Like, is there a wasp buzzing around? Onid, you are surprised. Alistair, you are not surprised. There are many fools that need incineration next to you. Or blasting away.
There certainly are. I'm just going to go ahead and use this opportunity while everyone's clustered together like this to cast Thunder Wave at level 2. Get these 3 boys right in front of me, right here. So they have to make a Constitution saving throw. And they got to beat a 14.
Okay. If Onid had rolled a 15 or higher in her perception check or her active perception check, she also would have not been surprised. But she rolled a 7.
Because all my rolls are crap.
Okay, they need to do con saves. They don't have any. That's not good for them. So there's 2, 3, and 4. Correct? Is that correct,
Correct.
Alistair? Okay.
All right, so yeah, they're pushed 10 feet away,
They all failed.
and they'll each take 6 points of thunder damage. Damage rolls were bad.
So you just reach out your hand and you hear there's this boom and they're blasted back away from you. They're somewhat surprised as they're now sort of getting up from being crumpled on the ground. Definitely didn't know.
Personal space, ever heard of it?
Tar rolled a 7, but her passive wasn't high enough.
Oh,
Yeah, her passive was at 15. But because your passives weren't at 15, if you had rolled actively, you would have seen it. High enough, a 15. If that makes sense.
yeah, that makes sense now.
Alright, Tara. There's only one fool that has not been blasted or thrown away, and he is standing right in front of you.
Okay. I will use my blade song and begin flowing like water. Can I say I've had my familiar up my sleeve?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay. I sort of put out both my hands, and one of them in a feint, and this snake pal pokes his head out and tries to bite the guy to distract him. I'm gonna stab him with advantage.
That hits.
Yay. I'll make that a booming blade so that if he moves, he'll take some damage.
Okay.
And that's my turn. Actually, you know what? I'm going to let him make an attack against me, if you'd like.
Yeah, if you move away, he'll most likely take that, because they're trying to actively murder you.
Oh, so I'm sorry. What's this white stuff?
Oh, sorry, that was me describing things. I can remove it. I was saying that that's a pillar right there. Like, this is a pillar, so you can't move through that, because it's goes to the ceiling.
I gotcha.
I can remove all that stuff. Okay.
This is my movement. If you would like to attack, he's free to.
Yeah, he's going to. Huzzah! No, he rolled 7.
Nope.
Alright. Well, it's his turn again. They would be someone experienced with magic, being assassins, I would think. So he would not move. Rather, he would attack Aja. Because there's still a target next to him that he can reach. So he's going to go in. This time, the hidden blade is, now that you are no longer surprised, not going to be that effective. So he's just going to attack you with a short sword. It's a 14 to hit.
Misses.
Alright. So he maybe it's your early morning drink you had, but you sort of sway at just the right time, and the thrust from the short sword just misses you. Assassin 2, where would he go to do maximum damage? He would say something in his like infernally celestial language. Which Onid you would recognize as something like forget the rest, kill the girl. So he would try to. How much movement does he have? 30 feet. So he can use a bonus action to dash. So he's going to go around. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this, unfortunately, is not the side that Alaric is protecting from attack. So he has sort of a uninterrupted stabbing session with Anna. What's her AC? Alright, let's see if he hits it. Oh my god! He critically hit. Okay. 13 damage. She can... Oh, she can't take another one of those, though. So her amazing dress that was like white and inlaid with mithril and just beautiful and a work of art to behold is now just stained red with blood, and it's all over the place. She's like, Alaric, I don't feel so good.
As she disintegrates into dust.
No, she's not dead, but that was a grievous wound. Alright. So as Alaric will actually sort of rotate with Anna, and as he's doing that, Tara, you hear him say, I closed his... Nope, here it is. He says, I am the swift sword. And when he does that, you see that some of the blood on Anna's dress is mitigated, as it were. And as he rotates, you see, like, he reaches by his side, and there's like a blinding flash of light. And let's see if the assassin gets hit. Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's not good for him. Oh, that actually kills him. Okay, so as he said, there's a flash of light, and then Anna's looking better, and the assassin looks dead.
Oh, well. So these assassins were... You said they were speaking Celestial?
They're speaking a weird combination of Celestial and Infernal.
Okay.
So Alaric's like right here now. Assassin 4's turn. He is going to square up against Tara. Because you're sort of in the way, preventing him from getting to Anna without... Okay, so... Let's see here. So if you can speak Celestial, you can only pick up about half their conversation, half of what they're saying.
Okay.
And if you can only speak Infernal, vice versa. You know how it works. He's going to stab at you, Tara. 20.
That would hit if I don't cast shield, which I do.
All right. So he comes in, he sees it slip by your guard, and you, even with the mask, you can swear there's a smirk on his face. But you, like, quickly cast, like, just like a wave of your hand, cast shield, and it bounces off that magical energy, and you are unharmed. All right. What will the head priest here do? He will look deep into your eyes, Tara. And in Infernal, he will point at Anna and say, "Betray." He will cast command on you.
Ooh.
Is that a wisdom save?
Yes.
I believe that's a charm effect, right?
Let me see. No, it doesn't say anything about charm in it. You speak a one-word command to a creature you see within range. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or follow the command on its next turn. It doesn't. If spell has no. Actually, do you understand? He would know. He would probably say in common then. So you would understand him. But he would. It says if you don't understand it, it doesn't affect you, and if you're undead, it doesn't affect you. But that's, I think, the only thing. It doesn't explicitly say charm anywhere. He just has told you to betray. So you know, wisdom saving throw.
Here goes.
Leave.
Yeah.
Yes. So you feel like this pressure on your mind, but you shake it off.
I tell him, how about now?
Okay. And Aja, you are no longer surprised. There is a man next to you who needs stabbing or shooting in the face, whichever you prefer.
I'm gonna go for Assassin 4 so I can get the sneak attack.
All right. Oh man,
Mm.
an 8 is not gonna do it though.
Alright, I'm going to back away from Assassin 1 at the least.
So if you use your bonus action to take a second shot, he can take an opportunity attack against you. Because I believe you can shoot twice due to your feet, but it's a bonus action to shoot the second round.
Is she in range of the first one?
That was a mistake, clicking it twice.
Okay, never mind then. You're good. Yeah, bonus action disengage. Huzzah. Alright, Assassin 3. He's going to settle up right to Alistair and Onid. And he's going to...
Can I try again?
yeah, he's going to thrust his hidden blade at you, Alistair, and try to stab on him with his short sword. That's not the right one. There it is. Okay. First one, Alistair. 21 to hit.
That'll do it.
And 24 to hit. Damn! We'll have to get there's 10 HP. 8 piercing to you. Alistair. 6 to Onid.
That's temp HP is gone.
It has served its purpose, though. That's his turn. Onid, you are no longer surprised. Danger very close.
Okay, how bad is Anna looking?
Anna is looking a lot better now. You should be able to,
Okay.
can you see her health? You should be able to see it.
I can. It's like a little bit under full.
Yeah, you should be able to see the bar. The green bar is like, I usually only put that for allies. Like, you should be able to see Alarix and Anna's in the parties. That's their health. You don't see the exact number, but that bar represents, if you had to quantify how they looked, that's what the bar represents.
Okay, cool.
Just to have a general
So
sense of
I am
HP.
just going to go for Assassin 4.
Now, you have a very powerful spell that, due to being a 3rd level warlock, you learned, which might be useful in this scenario.
That one is a bad one for this scenario.
I mean, it would wreck the temple, but it would also wreck your enemies.
I think it would wreck the party too, though.
It depends on where you put it. It's up to you. I'm just throwing out possibilities.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea.
So where do you want to place this deafening boom? It's a 10-foot radius sphere. So if you put it here, I believe you get all the bad people and none of the good people.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna put it. So I am going to cast Shatter.
Alright, it's con saves for the bad people. Historically not been good, their strong suit. Roll the damage so I can... Alright. Oh. They've all failed. Oh, 1 saved. 2 saved. And these are the assassins. And this guy failed. Okay. So... he takes... That has definitely hurt a bunch of them. So there's this like booming noise, and they that seems to be coming from behind them, and they sort of turn to look, and then they're rocked by this explosive force or thunderous force. And Assassin 1 is not looking too good, and neither is Assassin 3. Yeah. The High Priest and Assassin 4 are definitely looking better than 1 and 3. Would you like to move or stay where you are?
Anand is going to move.
Oh, also you have noticed, so that will provoke opportunity attack, but you've noticed that your thunderous force also cracks some of the tiling. Didn't touch the mithril at all, but some of the stone has been, flooring has been cracked a little bit.
What's the doodle?
That'll buff right out. Don't worry about it. So Assassin 3, sorry, will take an opportunity attack against you. Got 20.
Yeah, that hits.
8 piercing. All right, Alistair.
All right, I want to take a look at the high priest. Oh, that was a good trick. Well, I can do better. And I'll
Oh,
cast Command at second level on Assassins 3 and 4 and say, Betray.
all right. That's a wisdom save, right?
Yes,
Okay, let's see what they do. DC 15?
14.
14, okay. Oh, that's 1 fail. That's 2 fails. On their turns, they're going to try to murder him. So
Fuck yeah.
let me put that up there.
I'm just going to body block for Anna right here. And that'll be my turn.
All right. Now, Tara, you saw Alistair cast his spell on 4. So you can attack him if you want. You can also move to attack the High Priest, whatever you want to do.
I will do that. Tara will give a sort of flourish of her sword, and although it was short before, it now extends into a longsword with a sort of shimmering black edge as she casts Shadow Blade, and is going to move in to attack him.
All right. So there's, unfortunately, it's not dim light here, but getting in closer, Tara, you notice something strange. Like he has the same sort of effect. Actually, roll to attack first.
Well, Snaky Boy is going to give me advantage anyway.
Okay. That hits.
23.
Okay, so as you hit him, he like recoils in pain, and you see now that his illusion of this old man has dropped. Perhaps because he was actually a spellcaster, he was able to maintain the ruse for longer. But now looking at him, you see that he is, rather than black leather armor and cloaks and gear, he's wearing like a blood red sort of robe. The things, the flashes of skin you do see from his hands or from the or his face, you see that it is like covered in like just nastiness, like pustules, and his skin is cracked and bleeding. It's definitely not something you guys have done to him.
Alrighty. Well, I will keep moving just so I'm not next to them for whatever reason. And I'm going to move over here. And they can take opportunity attacks if they want, I suppose.
Yeah, he'll pull out his like a cruel-looking like curved dagger and try to like catch you with it as you walk past him. Oh no, he rolled 5. All right, assassin. When they're trying to focus down on it now. So, hey, it's like Overwatch. Okay, never mind. Anyway, let's go. He's gonna go around here. 4, 5, 6. And even though there's like only one possible way he could have gone into and attacked Anna, one avenue of approach, and he found it. He's coming in with the hidden blade aimed at a vital part of her body. Let's see what he rolls. So he goes to like stab at her throat, but she turns, and it hits her shoulder. And even though she's wearing a dress, the blade bounces off and snaps. And as that happens, you see the light from the stained glass windows catch her dress, and you see that it's like has an underlay of silver in it. Assassin 2 is very much dead. Alaric's turn. Is anyone looking hurt?
Oh, little.
The assassins mostly.
Yeah, so what would he do? What would he do here? He's trying to like shield Anna so he can't really move, so he can like rotate with her. He is going to Tara's too far away. He was going to give you a magic weapon. But you're too far away, so what else can he do? He's going to look at the high priest and say, I am the purifying fire. He will cast Hold Person on the high priest. Let's see if he passes. He does. Damn it. I really wanted to be murdered by his own friends. It still might happen, but they would have auto-crit against him. So it would have been hilarious. And then he sort of like shuffles Anna himself. So they're like, he's guarding her from Assassin 1 now. Alright, Assassin 4 is going to move here to try to stab the High Priest. And just like, when the High Priest speaks now, you see like his teeth are like rotted away and his tongue is just lolling out in his mouth. And it feels like he shouldn't even be able to speak with all that nastiness in the mouth zone. But you do hear Onid. He switches back to that infernal celestial thing. He says, "No, you fool, not me, her." But the spy doesn't seem to pay much attention and goes in to stab him. Oh my god, he critically hit. Oh, he might murder him. He does! He just butchers him. He says, "No, me." He says, basically through that like that spit and like you even see a tooth fly out of his mouth. The assassin just like cocks his head, looks at him, takes his short sword, left-handed, holds the grip with a reverse grip. His right hand is on the pommel, and he just sinks into his mouth as he's talking.
That's the thing about working with traders.
But as soon as he does that, he sort of like shakes his head and is looking down at the dead high priest and then looking up at his blade, and he's like has a horrified, well, his mask is there, but it looks like he's shook by what just happened. High priest is dead. Aja. I'm gonna look up command real quick because he can't betray anymore on his turn, so I gotta figure what he would do.
He's got other friends.
Yeah, but you point specifically at the high priest.
That's true.
I'll mitigate that by he just doesn't know what to do, so he'll just stand there for his turn. So it is still Aj's turn, even though it says Assassin 3.
I can't tell which number it is, but it's the assassin that's the furthest north one. Okay.
Yep. Roll20 is weird because sometimes the names like on it over Alistair will be there and you'll see it and be like, hey, other times it'll be like, no, it's going to go under. I don't know how to change that. It just seems to be 13 is their armor class. That murders him. So he's like preoccupied with trying to find a new angle to stab Anna at, trying to get by her mithril dress in Alaric's like large form, and he's not really paying much attention to you, so you sort of like aim your shot and shoot him right in between the shoulder blades, and he falls down dead.
Guess my second shot will go towards Assassin 3.
He's just standing there looking slack-jawed. He's regarding the High Priest's corpse and just sitting there slack-jawed, but he's like not moving. That also hits. You don't get a sneak, but you get 10 piercing. So what happens is he's standing there slack-jawed. You shoot him in the exact same spot you did Assassin 1, and he just rocks with it, like one of those punchy clowns, and then rocks back. And it just same slack-jawed expression on his face.
Do you want us to see their life bars? Because I can see their life bar.
Whoops. That shouldn't be the case. Hey. There he goes.
I also see Assassin 4.
What is going on? I thought I hit it. I really did, but then again, there's a lot of these boys. Well, the other ones are dead, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Onid. So, sorry. His turn. Assassin 3 just stands there, looking dumb. Now, Onid.
Alright, I am going to cast my favorite bro, Eldritch Blast, at Assassin 4.
Classic.
Even though he just helped us out by killing the High.
Not cool, bro. Alright, yeah, 22 definitely hits. Damn. The rolls. When it counts, you guys roll. So he's looking like dumbfounded at the High Priest, and then your Eldritch Blaster sort of blasts him into his side. He comes to his senses and rounds on you. You can't see, you can see his eyes through his mask, and they're brimming with hate. Alistair. Oh wait, Assassin 3 is no longer mind controlled by you, or commanded.
Okay, between the 2, 3, and 4, who's looking more hurt?
They're both about the same, but you need to make a perception check to determine, because it's very close. They're both very close to being dead, you would think.
Probably doesn't matter. I'll just go ahead and hit Assassin 4 with a magic missile. All 3 at him.
If he dies before then, you can divert them to hit 3.
Yes, I would like to do that. And if that happens, if he dies in the last one, I just have the last one kind of circle around like a dog trying to lay down and then hit the next one. And I was just going to say, a little loyalty goes a long way.
Really rubbing it in.
Yeah.
He already feels bad, man.
This poor guy.
Just murdered his boss. Okay.
Okay.
Roll damage. Okay. He's still out with the first one.
Oh, that's right. They do individual.
Yeah.
Boom.
He's dead.
Oh my god.
Max damage on each. You kill both of them. How do you want to do this?
in the coolest way possible, please.
4 had 8 left, and 3 had 4.
Okay. I will have the first one just sort of like come right out of my hand, and they start swirling about and strike the number 4 in his leg, so he goes down. The next one will just blast him right in the head, obliterating his brains as the next one comes around. It was coming back to hit him again, but his brain just isn't there anymore, so it just goes right through the visceral mass and strikes through to 3 and hits him directly in the chest, leaving just a gaping hole where his heart used to be.
I can dig it. And so, you guys didn't notice it before. So combat has sort of tapered off. You guys didn't notice it before because you're sort of in the midst of combat, and adrenaline is pumping, and and more of your senses were devoted to brain powers devoted to visual input, but you begin to realize that you can sort of hear ambient noise again.
Yeah. Are there any more? Anna, are you all right?
She's like she's more shaken than injured at this point, but she says, I think I'm fine. How are each of you?
Looks like Aja might need a little bit of help.
I'm just gonna pull some alcohol from my water skin until someone heals.
He says, Aja, Alert will say, Aja, there's no need for that.
Don't tell me what there's need for.
Here's the thing, though. As he's saying that, you feel better.
But, Alaric, is there like a safe room or something where we can get these, get everyone in defensible position?
He says, so he healed you 7, by the way. He says, I don't know if they've infiltrated, he says, if they infiltrated the temple, then who's to say they haven't infiltrated the guard? We need a place to regroup outside of the castle, outside of our normal normal places that Anna frequents.
Sewers?
I'm sorry, what? Go ahead.
Sewers?
How far away are we from the temple where Anand's mother is?
So you'd have to go down like about 1 district away. But you see
Oh, that's real far. Okay, never mind.
But it's like, so it's tiers based on elevation. Like you can get there from here, but you'd have to either just book it or be sneaky. But Alaric is thinking, and then he looks at you on and says, didn't you say you used to live in Stormhaven? You have a residence here that we can stay at momentarily while we figure out our next step?
Yes, my family does still live here. If we find a cloak or something for Anna, perhaps we can make our way there without attracting too much attention.
Yeah, so Alaric has like a massive fur-lined like cloak, and he'll like throw that over her.
All right, and
He says,
Anand will.
the only problem is there's like, he says there's only one entrance and exit to the temple. If it was a castle,
That
it'd
is
be
a
a
problem.
different story. So basically what's going to happen is I'm going to push open the doors. You're going to take Anna and just run towards Anna's house, and I will follow you. And hopefully, since you know the area on it, try to take some back streets. You know, don't go directly there. Try to shake off any pursuers you might have.
That should be simple enough. I spent enough time wandering as a child.
All right. How you do this, Desert? We fought. Were you guys ready? And he's like standing at the door, ready to push it open.
So we should probably group around Princess Delicate here.
And she says, "I'm tougher than I look."
Oh, she didn't say that aloud. She
Okay.
would never, ever, ever insult her queen aloud.
Noticing, we'll make a perception check on it.
Oh, I see everything.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what I'll give you. So you sort of look at Anastasia. You think Princess Delicate, but you would never say that, of course. But looking at her, you do see that her dress is like I mentioned before, woven into his mithril, so it's armored, but it doesn't hamper movement. It still looks like a normal dress. And you also see now that she's holding in two hands a sheath, and looks like a mithril dagger inside.
She's going to nod in approval,
But
then also say,
she's like clutching it very close to her, like almost as if she just doesn't really use it much. And then looking at that, you see above it, around her neck now, that your attention is drawn to, you see a holy symbol of Arya, which is strange because usually someone uses, at this day and age, would choose an aspect rather than Arya herself to worship.
Tara's gonna look at Anna and sort of gesture with her own sword in like a reverse grip and say, hold it like this, it'll be easier to move around for you.
So she tries.
I know you're. Oh, go ahead.
It's still in the sheath, and the sheath is also inlaid with mithril as well. It's very beautiful. It's like jewel encrusted everything. It's essentially fancy, but the dagger itself is very real. She pulls it out and tries to imitate what you did, Tara, but she doesn't do it quite right.
Princess, I know you're prepared to defend yourself if necessary, but perhaps let us do our best and leave that as a last resort.
Okay. Let's see.
Well, I'm sure you know how it works. Take them with the pointy end.
Just wait. I have something that can help. She seems to have just thought of it and she claps her hands together. Because also, the DM just thought of this. She says, Alaric is going to open the door. We're going to run out. I'm going to cast a spell. Okay?
A
Spell
spell,
should make everyone ignore us.
That would be quite handy.
It's a good one. What is it called?
It's called Calm Emotions.
Okay. Might have to pick that one up.
So it'll last enough for Alaric to also follow us. All right, and then Alaric says, "Is everyone ready?"
Somebody should stand in front of Anna just in case. I have a feeling that they already have bows trained from across. Or
Yeah,
at least I
Anand
would
has
if I
armor,
was.
but it kind of sucks.
Who has the
I can
most
do it.
armor? Alaric is pushing open the door, or pulling open the door, so he can't be in front, as it were. He has to be behind you.
Tara will do it. And she stands ready. It looks like she's about to cast shield at a moment's notice.
All right. You see that Anna is gripping her holy symbol around her neck, and her dagger's in her other dagger sheath is in her other hand, and you all give the sort of go ahead to Alaric. He pulls open the doors. You guys sort of rush out. And the first thing you notice, Tara, since you're at the front, this doesn't require a perception check because everyone's literally right there. It's just a look of confusion in everyone's faces. They're all like they turned when the door opened, but you guys sort of run out, and it looks like they don't really understand what's going on. And then Anna casts Calm Emotions, and they're sort of like get this dopey look on their face, and they sort of just start looking in random directions away from your group.
Okay, cool. Anand is going to just be like, let's hurry, princess, and she's going to start leading them back to her childhood home via as many back alleyways in a twisty path as she possibly can.
All right. You guys, let's see. So for this, I'm just going to have you do a survival check with advantage. Because it has been quite some time since you've been around the city of
Oh,
Stormhaven.
seriously?
That's fine. That's good enough. That's good enough. So you're able to do rather intricate, like backtracking, zigzags. It takes you probably double or triple the time it would just to straight walk there, but you are almost 100% confident you have thrown off all pursuit, if any. However, as soon as you think that, you reach your childhood home, and you see like Alaric running up, from coming from a different way than you did. He's like, it's hard. He stops for a second. He's like, it's hard to sprint and play for a long time.
Sounds like you need to do more cardio, Alaric.
He's been running for about 30 minutes. Just
Sorry
full
about
tilt.
that.
No kidding. Gracious.
But not as much as Alistair.
He's like, yeah, he says, is this your home, Haunted?
Yes, it is. Let me just here, you all stay in this alleyway for a moment. I'm going to go in the back way. And she's gonna be a totally classy lady and climb in through the back window.
Yes.
And check
Somehow
the
this
house.
massive woman fits through this window.
Yes.
6'6".
Yeah, she's 6'6", but she's not, like the Hulk. She'll get through the window. She used to do it a lot.
Okay. Fortunately
Um,
for you, Onid, you would know that being, patriotic citizens of Stormhaven, that your family would not be here during this time. They'd be out waiting for Anna to come to the balcony so they could see her, where she'll be crowned.
yeah, she's just checking in case these assassin people are super, super clever. But she'll open the door and let them all in.
Okay? You
Because
guys
I
also...
doubt she has keys to her former childhood home.
Yeah, I mean, they've probably changed the locks at least once in the 10 years that you've, been gone. But you were sort of ushered inside by Onid. Describe your family home to us, Onid.
All right, so Anand's family are moderately wealthy merchants. They're obviously not at the top of the merchant class pile, but they're doing pretty good. So the house is full of like imported rugs and fine furniture. Not necessarily, most of it's of course not wood, but a little bit of it is. Um, and the kitchen is very well stocked. It's not a huge house, but it is fairly good sized. It's very clean and well kept. Everything, like, it looks like they're ready for company perpetually, basically. Um, so not as good as the digs we've been in, but Anand definitely grew up in the upper middle class, let's say.
All right, so yes, like true to what Anand said, it isn't as obviously fancy as Castle Dauntless and sort of VIP treatment you've been getting, but nevertheless, it's miles better than the open road, a cart, any tavern you've been in. Very cozy, and clean. It appears the military background of Anand's mother did not allow a speck of dust to survive her brutal clean onslaught. But so you guys, I'm assuming there's chairs and couches you can sit down.
Oh yeah, lots of seating. It looks like they have the kind of home where they receive guests frequently. So
Probably other merchants, contacts, stuff like that. While Anand was doing this, Alaric was casting prestidigitation to get rid of all the blood stains that were left on Anand's dress.
I must say, it's a lovely, lovely home.
and so while everyone's getting settled, Anand will get um, water for everyone. Aja can provide her own booze. um, she'll get water for everyone and make sure the princess is settled and all that.
Yeah, you knew your family hosted well-respected and famous or rich, important individuals, but never someone of this magnitude. And so you're like, even like, outside of the fight that just happened, you're freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, she's a little bit overwhelmed about having, the princess in her house, but um she's trying to maintain composure. She also hasn't been here for 10 years, so,
And so as you all sort of get situated, Alaric's just like looking at Anna and then looking at you all and like trying to find a way to bring up a subject if you're not sure what. So, no one asks them, so they'll say, so, I didn't know it would be that bad. I expected some random person on the street to slip by the royal guards, try to attack Anna. I expected someone to shoot an arrow at her or a bolt or magic when she was on the balcony. And I had prepared for all of that. I didn't prepare for them to use magic to impersonate clergymen and the high priest, who are most likely dead, and then attack us in the high temple, which is not only, they're trying to kill someone, it's also blasphemous to do so, like, in a temple.
I don't think that they were particularly worried about blasphemy, all things considered. They were speaking a mixture of celestial and infernal, uh, which is not right.
Plus, did you notice his mouth was absolutely rotting?
He looked like a leper.
Worse than a leper.
He had, if one had to say it, he had super leprosy. Imagine a dark leprosy. That's what he had.
Dark leprosy.
Some sort of necrotic manifestation or something?
He said, yeah, well, unfortunately for you guys, you didn't inspect the body, but, like I said, that'd be my guess too. He's afflicted by some blight or something. But how he's able to move stricken so is a mystery to me. He says, but the most important thing now is to make sure it's clear that their target is Anna, and it's the most important thing is to make sure she's safe. And as much as I like to stay here at Anid's family home for forever, I have a feeling they'll eventually find us here.
Well, what are we gonna do?
I think the question is, who can we trust?
Right. I mean, this group, certainly there's some sort of conspiracy. This was organized, and they're not going to be the last.
And Alaric will say, I think it's safe to say that we can't trust anyone outside of this room.
That is there a way to complete her coronation without exposing her so much? We can be prepared for a small battle, but if she's attacked in public, we'll be quickly overwhelmed.
And so as you're as you're about to say that, Anid, Anna interrupts and says, "We can trust Leave as well." And let's see. Onid. Let's see who do I want to have make this role here? I think Tara. Anyone who has proficiency in perception can make this role.
Perception?
Yes.
I do not have proficiency.
God damn it.
Alistair comes through for us.
Yeah. All right, Alistair. When she mentions leave, you hear a noise at the door, the front door. Actually, no, it would have been the back. Describe your family setup, your house setup to me, Onid, so I can adjudicate this correctly.
Okay, so when you walk in the front door, you're in the main room.
Like the exterior, like entrances and exits.
Okay, so there's a main front door. The most of the front of the house is the main room. There's a window there. To the side of that would be bedrooms, each of which would have a window. And then directly behind the living room would be the kitchen, which is the window that Anand climbed into. And then her uncle has an office between the kitchens and the bedrooms.
Okay.
And there's probably a bathroom in there somewhere, I assume.
So on it, I'm gonna allow you to roll perception too because you know this house, and you can do so with advantage.
My advantage helps me none.
Did not. Okay, so Alistair, you notice this. You hear a sound coming from the kitchen. Very faint, but it's like metallic. Like something jiggling something.
I just hold up a hand and then like point to my ear and then point to the kitchen. Just get everyone's kind of attention silently and indicate that there's something going on there. And I would like to send. I'll go ahead and put my hand on Aja's shoulder, and I'll use Harold out and see through his eyes to see what's in the kitchen.
Okay. 1 second. You don't see anything.
Okay. I'll come out of it. And who can see? Do I have anything for this? Nope. I'll just let's let everyone know and see what. Well, first of all, I guess I'll whisper. You should get Anna somewhere safe. Then someone's in here.
I'll take her to one of the bedrooms. And she'll show Anna to one of the bedrooms and kind of keep her down out of the window, since if someone knows that they're there, that seems like a good idea.
Alaric is going to follow. He will just block the window with his frame.
That's fair. And she'll, sit the princess down on the bed and just tell them to stay quiet and shut the door behind her. And then shut all the rest of the doors as well on the way back to the living room. So she's in the front of the house. So in the room that's furthest from the kitchen.
Okay. So, Alistair's convinced there's someone either snooping around the house or in the house with you. How do you guys want to deal with this?
Does anyone have any sort of anything to be able to detect them? Didn't see anybody through Herald.
I'll cast Detect Magic using a spell slot.
Okay. Let's see what you get from that. Let me look. You don't see anything.
Tara looks at Alistair and sort of shrugs.
You get a sense from Alistair, because he's a magic boy. You get a feeling of magic-y, magic ability about him, as well as it's fainter but still there for Aja. On it, it's weird. It doesn't seem. It's not like yours or Alistair's or Aja's at all. And you can even sense Alaric and Anna, and theirs you recognize as divine. But Anna's is weird completely. It's not either of those. It's like a hybrid.
Anything?
She sort of shakes her head.
Well, it may be the case that they're just invisible. Aside from flailing around wildly and bumbling about, then I don't know.
Is this a one-story house?
Yes.
Is that a Jesse?
Hello.
Oh, Slizik is here. Okay, so how are you guys situated in this house?
I think we're
Aggressively, whatever I'm doing.
we're in like the living room, right?
I think we're all in the living room at the moment.
Okay. Sorry, Jesse, we'll get you caught up to speed.
No, it's all good. No, just keep going.
Okay. So, Alistair. You feel/hear two things simultaneously. One is you feel metal against your throat.
Oop.
The second is you hear a voice in your head that says, "Respond quickly and plainly, lest it be your last. Where is Anna?"
Didn't see her. And I'll
You don't see this individual. You just feel the metal against you.
Oh, beans.
Yeah.
In fact, they also use message to contact you, so none of you have heard or seen anything.
Man.
You just see that Alistair's slightly tensed up a little bit.
In fairness, Alistair doesn't know which bedroom Anand took Anna to because she didn't say and he wouldn't have been able to see.
Can I?
There's like a hallway there.
Do the rest of us notice that? Or
Can I cast Thunderwave in front of me?
you should cast it centered on yourself, just so it goes in every direction.
It has to be you can't do it on yourself. It's got to be a cube from you.
You can cast it. They're behind you, so you have to cast it backwards.
Is anyone in that? Would anyone be caught in that?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I would like to do that.
Slizik like just walks up. Oh, hi, sorry.
No, you're here. So
Bam!
basically, what has happened before the slither wave goes off, I'll adjudicate that in a second. Why don't you go ahead and roll if you are in fact casting it?
Like roll damage.
Yeah, just do the whole thing.
Okay.
So basically, Slizik, what happened is I relayed your nightly exploits to Alistair. How you partied like a rock star and destroyed your room.
Yeah.
And so you guys went to attend the coronation ceremony as guards for Anna. You guys made it to the high temple that was described to you all. Anna was led in prayer by the head priest. The sort of approval, blessing of the aspects was made manifest and around Anna, and then she stood up and began to walk back out of the temple with your party and the head priest. Along the way, you guys saw some clergymen sort of walk towards you they were sort of bowed in prayer. As soon as they crossed your paths, they
Some
turned
Assassin's
on
Creed
you to
shit.
try to murder you.
Yeah.
As well as the head priest jumped to try to probably cast a spell because his hands were glowing with the foul light towards Anna. Alaric essentially yoinked the head priest back and threw him to the side. You guys engaged these assassins. You murdered everyone. You essentially were going to regroup at Onid's house, a place that sort of semi-safe because not really many people know about Onid, so they can't send assassins there because they might if they're at the temple, they reason they might be at the castle too, so they need another place to go. As you guys left the temple, Anna cast calm emotions on the people outside, and they sort of didn't pay attention to your party as you ran on by. You guys met up at Onid's house. You took circuitous. Can't say that word. You took
Close enough.
You took back streets and you doubled back and you were trying to essentially shake off pursuers. And you were at least fairly certain you had until Alistair's amazing roll heard a sound in the kitchen, and they're trying to investigate that sound when this has happened.
Oh. Okay.
So, how does one cast Thunderwave?
Let's see. It's got check verbal, somatic.
So, as soon as you go to make the hand motions to do it, you feel like a heel pressed into your foot, and the message comes back and says, "My goal is not your life. Tell me where Anna is."
Do we see him struggling?
Yeah,
I wanted to know that as well.
Let's see. Let me see what message does. If it confers a voice to you, would you recognize it?
It says you whisper a message and they hear the message.
All right. Well, I like to flavor it like this. Make a general. I like to flavor that you can tell, kind of. I'll have you guess who it is based on an intelligence roll.
Okay.
Just straight intelligence. You needed a high roll because you only met this person once and she only talked once. You think you're very certain this is a feminine voice that's messaging you. And it sounds, whispers are weird on tone or on someone's voice. It's hard to identify them, but you think, based on your intelligence check, this might be Leave.
Who was...
Handmaid? Oh, you weren't there for that, were you?
No, he was. He was the only one that actually saw her. That's why I even allowed him to make this check.
I'm sorry. It's been a while.
Sorry,
Like a
Leave
month.
was the person that opened the door for you when you met Anna, and you were the only one to see her. She was like only in your periphery for a moment. She was also the one that
shadowy-
presented you the signet rings you now have.
Ooh.
So detect magic doesn't happen to detect those signet rings, does it? I want to know if they track this here.
No, there's no magic in the signet rings.
I would say, I know your face, Leave.
Do you message that back to her or just say it out loud?
I say it out loud.
I also want to ask, sorry if I feel like I'm milking it here, but I want to know, would I have picked up her message spell go while detect magic was active? Because it does last 10 minutes.
That's true. You would have felt just a brief, like, because it's instantaneous. It's like you would just feel like a blip coming from behind Alistair. You can't focus on it to determine what magic it is, but you just felt magic going off behind Alistair twice.
I look in that direction.
And that's when he says out loud, I know your face, Leave. And then you guys hear like a disgrunted, like a disgusted grunt, and you're, Alistair, forcibly pushed away towards the middle of the room.
Oh.
Okay, I want to. this might be kind of
Do
whack.
Do it.
I want to take out my bottle of rum, and I just want to like
Okay.
splash like in a big arc, like right
Yeah.
where I think she would be.
How would I adjudicate this? Because she's using a if you haven't figured it out, she's using a spell to make herself invisible.
Maybe like a deck save for.
Yeah, deck save, yeah.
Yeah. Now, she is very good at this.
Yeah, I bet.
Quick, somebody get some flour.
Yeah.
What would be? Her class is a rogue, so she has proficiency in this. Okay. So I'll have you make a ranged attack throw with the rum.
Okay, is that would that be like dexterity? What am I adding?
Yeah, it'd be dexterity.
That's okay. So 1d20 plus 1.
Do it.
What? 12.
Oh, she rolled a 13 with a +9. You were so close.
God damn it.
You were so close. So the bottle of rum just goes careening like past whoever you were aiming for. Something, because the rest of you aren't certain what's going on exactly, but just like smashes against the wall.
I should have. I'm not trying to hit her. Like I should have said. Like I'm like
Spraying the
bottle
liquid.
off, and I'm
Oh, you're like shaking it up like a champagne.
Like I'm. Yeah. So I.
Okay, so you just spray the wall instead.
Okay.
Just stains. It's horrible. Smells like alcohol in here now.
Why?
Almond
Why did that
kind
just
of
happen?
winces, and
Your
she's
mom
like,
is gonna kill you.
yeah,
Why?
basically, that's exactly what she's thinking. It's like, oh shit, my mom is gonna kill me.
Leave the
I brought
handmaid.
the princess to the house. We smashed a bottle of alcohol.
Who the fuck is Leaf?
The handmaid, the one with the rings. She's around here.
She actually followed us in the
Swing
procession.
your weapons wildly.
No, don't do that. She's Leaf. Stop. She's
I'm
safe.
swinging!
She's safe. She's with Alaric.
I destroy half the room. Well,
Do
Alright.
not destroy half the room.
destroy
Anand will hit you with an Eldritch Blast if you try and destroy her
That's-
house.
Can I try and
It's DM cackling.
Can I try and perceive her despite her invisibility with like I don't know hearing or something?
I will say for you, it's impossible for you
Do I hit her with my massive hammer?
because
as swing?
I will tell you right now. I rolled. She has expertise in stealth because she's a rogue, and she has advantage because she's invisible, and she got a 20 on the roll, like a crit. You will not be able to perceive her.
Oh, fair enough.
Can I bonk her with my big hammer?
You can try if she's within range of you. Like I said, She has
Okay.
over a 30 on her stealth roll. You will not sense her unless she wants you to sense her.
Your lack of faith is disturbing.
So
Frankly.
I will have you make an attack roll, just swinging wildly at disadvantage.
Oh, disadvantage, huh? That's real bad. Yeah.
Yeah, you smash open. There's a vase with some fresh flowers in it, and you think it's looking at you funny, and so you're like, "Die,
Oh,
vase!"
fuck it right up. Yeah.
And you swing in that direction and just destroy it. Shatters into a million pieces.
I'm not going to actually do this, but Anand
Oh, do it.
literally screams at him to stop.
You see her like the eldritch energy cackling around her fingers as
Like she is about a half a second away from Eldritch blasting you.
Yeah, I just kind of stand there panting and then see her. And kind
Your
of.
rum-soaked broken furniture.
I'm about to like fly into a rage and I see her and it's just like a dog that just got yelled at, like, oh shit. Just kind of slowly put the mace away. Or not the mace, the hammer. Oh,
This is my home. You will all stop now.
There
I
is
just,
there's
as a
The
person.
princess is safe. Leave.
Uh,
She's with Alaric. Show
She held
yourself.
a knife to my throat. How do you know that
Yes,
she's not part
because
of this?
she doesn't understand what's happening. Show yourself.
And then you hear a message in your voice on it that says, "Prove to me that Anna's safe."
I think she said.
Alistair said it was leave.
Yeah. I said out loud, I know your face, leave.
And Anand says aloud, I'll take you to her when you show yourself.
Okay. You see a figure like crouched on the ceiling,
Thank you.
like as if like it just materialized. She's like in the corner of the ceiling, like she belongs, like essentially like Spider-Man. Yes.
And Anand just looks up at her
And she
and
has
she's clear. She's more mad than she is frightened at this point because y'all just wrecked her damn house.
You say y'all, but it was definitely.
It was just alright. It was just no. Alistair helped.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, he was in a
Alistair helped. So like a bunch of people just tried to kill us. We ran through the city like fiends. She climbed through a window to let you into her house, which you then splattered with rum and broke something probably expensive. She is not pleased. Like y'all met her mom, who was a military cleric and is now like a high cleric, and she is doing a really good impression of like seriously pissed off mom right now.
It's minor structural damage. It'll buff out.
I'm gonna prestidigitate the wall, the rum stains clean at least.
I want to point to this Spider Woman.
Anand, meanwhile,
yeah, we're gonna deal with that.
She's just like
meanwhile,
cocking her head like regarding you all, and she's like,
is she in swinging distance?
She's on the
Anand,
ceiling.
meanwhile, is just like, fine, she's this way, and she'll stomp off like she is just pissed. Like,
I might have got a bit ahead of myself.
So she just falls. Oh, go ahead.
yes, that would be a terrible time to drunk stumble into something delicate and decorative. There's plenty of comfy couches for you to fall your drunk ass.
Ooh.
All right, so she falls from the ceiling with nary a sound, cat-like almost, and begins to follow you on it.
And Anand will go into the hallway in general, just like, so there's a couple of bedroom doors like in a row, and she's just going to go into the hallway in general, and she's going to say, leave is here. And wait and see if Anna or Alaric respond.
So the response is a brief pause, and then the door that you placed Anna in opens up slightly. And Leave runs past you and goes into the room.
Oh.
Damn it, Aja.
Mom is away, the kids will play. So yeah, so there's there's a statue, marble statue, that actually piqued your interest in Odessa on it. That was gifted to you from a mage there that your father procured an item for, and she just tumbles it over.
Anand really looks like she's ready to murder somebody. Like, just straight up would like to murder someone. And she just kind of points at Aja and she's like, you. And then she points at a couch. She's like, sit. And then she does the same thing to Slizik to a different couch.
I
She's
do, and I
like, you
crush it, and I fucking
sit.
destroy it because I'm 500 pounds.
Well,
I was just gonna put her.
She might point to the floor and just be like, you sit.
Oh, come on.
I was just gonna put her finger to her lips, like, shh. It's a very delicate time right now.
Sit down.
I plunked
Like,
down.
y'all have never seen her lose her composure, really? She is so mad. She is murder rage.
I'm assuming I have cheese on my person, so I'll just start kind of chomping on that. Hey! No, it's mine.
Oh, I'm not. Okay, I'm not trying.
You fat fuck.
I'm not getting mad at you for holding out. I literally also in real life have my own cheese, thanks to Chipotle Gouda.
That's the nice stuff.
The whole time.
Nice.
So as you guys are sort of like on it is delegating or regulating, rather, you hear a cough, a polite cough behind you, and you see
Anand will turn around.
it's
She still looks vaguely murderous, but she knows that, behind her is the princess, so
yes, it is in fact Anna, and behind her, looking very guilty and crestfallen, is Leave. And she says, and Anna says, on behalf of my maid Leave, I would like to apologize for her recent disrespectful behavior towards you. Leave, do you have something to say? And then she her head's still down, and she's playing with her hands, wringing them. And then, in a very quiet voice, she just says, "I'm sorry."
She's one hell of a maid. Sneaking around invisible and hanging off of the walls.
the most useful sort, I would imagine.
I guess that's how you sweep the ceiling.
I think they have long brooms for that. In any case,
Get the long brooms out.
Well, she's a maid, and
Now I'm curious how they cleaned rooms back in the day.
and bodyguard, and more importantly, I regard her as a friend, which is why I knew she would never betray me.
well, I'm sure that she will be very useful in helping to get you home safely. And I do certainly accept your apology. It is mostly my friends who were causing the destruction. and she'll give a respectful kind of head bow to Anna.
Alaric is crouched over the vase, and so he's like shaking his head, saying, "Not even men can fix this." It's
There's a very loud tearing noise from the room behind.
I will murder you.
Can you see us?
Or worse, there's a tearing noise. She doesn't even turn around. She's just like, I will murder you.
literally the 500-pound, 6 foot, 7, 8 dragonborn sitting down the middle of the room. Can
That's
you see me?
Like a slow tearing, like I'm trying to be stealthy, and then she says that. Just stops immediately. Sorry. Continue.
I believe is what Anna's saying before we were interrupted by things. We were discussing what to do next. Obviously, we try to get back to the castle. We can't do so by the usual route.
I assume there are other routes.
Oh yes, there are quite a few known only to the royal family. Still, getting to them is the issue.
Well,
Well, it's good we have two members of the royal family right here.
We still have to get to the castle. It is not exactly close.
Do you think by now they might have given up since their attempt was a bust?
Would you?
I don't know. I'm not an assassin.
I'm going to guess no. They have not given up.
If you go to the extraordinary steps of infiltrating an enemy city, murdering clergymen, impersonating those clergymen, so that you can attempt to assassinate the princess in the largest, most well-known, most well-respected, most venerated holy site in all the land. I think you're fairly determined, is what Lyric says.
Well, the only question is what they plan to do next.
What was the next step in the coronation, out of character? Because I don't remember.
The head priest, high cleric, would follow the party, that being the noble people, you, Anna, Alaric leave, back to Castle Dauntless. You go to the 3rd floor of the castle, where there's a balcony that overlooks a large courtyard or plaza, where it's so large and back that it's kind of like in the Vatican, where the Pope looks out over the people. It's on that scale. So you can fill a lot of people. At least half of Stormhaven can be in this tightly packed area. And that is where he'll then read aloud the sort of coronation. Let me... there's a lot of variation based on who says it, but you always do need to end it with do you, whoever is being crowned, swear in the presence of all aspects in heaven and the people gathered here today to uphold the laws of Stormhaven and protect its citizens, its lands, and to act in their best interests. And then they say yes, and they say, I now pronounce to you the however manyth it is, King or Queen of Stormhaven. May your rule be long, prosperous, and blessed by all the aspects.
All right, so
Well, it seems like we're short a high priest.
yes,
So-
that is the problem. We're also going to
Tech-
need.
So when you say short high priest, Alaric will say technically any member of Stormhaven's clergy can perform the ceremony.
I know we can trust my mother. It is simply a matter of getting to her.
Do you know where your mother would be right now?
Well, if she's. I mean, she'd be doing what all the other Stormhaven citizens are doing, although Anna did warn her that there was going to be. That she'd had that dream and there was going to be trouble. So. I assume that she'd be out in the crowd, but she'd also be looking for trouble because her kid said so. She'd probably be in the coronation, like in a area where she'd be able to see the coronation as opposed to like on the streets.
Leave is looking at you intently on it. She said, describe her to me.
And she'll launch into a description, and it basically, she looks just like me, but older and more human colored. But she'll give her a pretty precise description.
All right. And as she turns, she bows to Anna and says, it'll be 30 minutes, my queen.
Just enough time for us to get to where we need to go.
And as she says that, she just disappears.
Watch your necks.
That is never going to not be disconcerting. If we're to do this coronation on a balcony in front of half of Stormhaven, and we don't know whether the guard is compromised, we're going to need a way to shield the princess somehow that is more efficient than our bodies.
Alaric says, I have a way of ensuring loyalty. He's sort of cracking his knuckles, and he's got a look on his face.
How do you do that?
I'm hoping it involves a spell about lying and
that too.
Not necessarily just punching people until they.
That he's like, oh, of course. He says that too.
I know they're the best siblings. So it becomes a matter of how we get back to the palace, which you would know better than we do.
So, Anna is thinking for a bit. She says, you all are relatively unknown in Stormhaven, so you should be fine. The problem is if there are still assassins lurking about, is myself and Alaric. Let's see.
And I think we might do well to dress you in something slightly less royal. At least for the moment. I'm sure that my cousin has something.
Yeah, she's looking down at her dress, and as there's still no blood there because Alaric cleaned it, but there's still like slash marks on her dress where like she was cut.
All right, so Anand is going to go on a little clothes raid here, and she will get her cousin's probably second fanciest dress, because I assume she's worn the fanciest one to the coronation.
It's safe to assume.
And and an appropriate cloak so that she can, cover her head. And offer those to Anna.
And let's see. Actually, Alaric would be fairly unknown too, because he's just recently arrived in the city. So he should be good too. He just puts his he takes his cloak back and puts his hood up. Okay, so she's folding up the mithril dress. But she, just looking at her now, if you just passed her on the street, you wouldn't recognize her as anyone.
I can put that in my bag if you'd like.
Oh, she thanks you, because she didn't exactly carry a bag or anything with her.
She didn't bring a purse to her own coronation. Yeah. Who would have thought?
She has people for that, honestly, though. But yeah, so she hands that to you. And then, as she's changed, you're remarking of this change in her appearance, due to her clothes. She sort of like tilts her head a little bit, and she says, Leave has found your mother on it, and she has agreed to help us.
Excellent. So that is one fewer problem that we have. Is there any way that we can put a shield spell around the princess? Something that would, even if we only get a moment, the first attack fended off, that would give us an advantage.
He says, I'll do you one better. That's what Alaric says. And he pulls out 2 platinum rings.
Anand blinks, because what does that mean?
Oh, no, it's not anything weird. It's just, I need them to cast a spell.
That's the best message I've ever seen.
Wow.
Like, do you want
What
me
does that
to
mean?
duck? Is there a duck in the vicinity? I know what it is, but
Yes.
Duck!
it's just so funny.
She literally is fostering a duck right
I know,
now.
but still, just out of context, that's so funny.
But just for Jessie,
Oh, excuse me. Jesus.
she has an actual duck in her house that she's taking care of.
I was going to do, since we
Okay.
started around 9, I was going to do around 12. That should give us time to go through the coronation. But if you needed to head out early, or if anyone does, we can end soon. Yep, 40 minutes. Around there. I was going to stop after the coronation, or 40 minutes, whatever is sooner. That makes sense. Anyway, so he places one of the rings on her middle finger on her right hand. Actually, no, it'd be her thumb, because her hands are smaller than his. So it's on her thumb on her right hand, and it's on his like pinky on his right hand.
What are those?
So he says, I can't. Oh, wait, this isn't concentration. Oh, this is great. Okay. So he says, she'll be protected with this.
We're her bodyguards, can you be a little bit more specific so we can plan around it?
So The spell is called a Warding Bond. It makes her harder to hit, and if she is hit, the attacks will do roughly half damage to her.
It's pretty useful.
I'm guessing
Unfortunately,
the other half damage.
if
to him.
she's hit, I take the other half of that damage.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, better 2 people to have to heal up than 1 to have to resurrect. So, I think we'll take it. Shall we be on our way?
I say give it to Slizik.
I object to that.
Give what to Slizik? The other part of the Warding Bond. So you're the meat shield.
Yeah, no, I'll might pass on that one.
Well, you're the tough one, so you got to carry some slack too, you know. So far, all you've done is broke a vase.
Look at this big strapping man. I'm sure he can take a couple of hits.
Well, compared to you, he's small, but for a human, he's above
Well,
average
okay,
height.
DM. Let's not.
I'm sorry. You have described yourself in this session as 500 pounds.
That's not. Yeah.
He's less than half that.
Okay. I grumble.
Let me see.
A little bit of electricity.
7 feet tall. 7 feet tall, 400 pounds. Not counting your armor and equipment. He's 190, 6'1".
This is a fantastical world. There could be a gnome out there with like 400 hit points. But yes, I will slip on the silver ring. Oh boy.
Are you sure? Because Alaric has it. He'll give it to you. If you.
This just got real. Yeah, fuck it.
All right.
I better get a nice paycheck after this.
Don't worry, I'm sure that they'll resurrect you if anything happens.
That's okay.
She definitely said that with a little bit of a smirk, because she's so mad you wrecked her shit.
How much can one whole room cost? It's nothing.
Anna just has like this look, like she's like politely looking away. We say, how much can one room cost? Tara, you know that every room in the castle that had mithril in it is worth more than this entire house.
Ooh. Okay.
No one else knows that except Alaric, Anna, and Tara, because Tara has a connection.
How much? How much could it possibly cost?
More than your weight in gold. Maybe
I find that hard to believe. Oh, really? Oh,
excuse me. He does weigh more than me.
What the both of you put together?
Okay.
Like, the door to the city alone and to the High Temple are solid mithril.
I didn't
that gate is steep.
Just throwing that out there.
That's you got to do what you got to do. I don't know what to tell you.
In terms of protection, don't have much beyond detecting magic, and well, I suppose I could marry her, and she'd be slightly harder to hit for some reason.
She is
I volunteer.
Politely taken back, and Alaric is interposing himself between you and her.
No, when I mean officiate. When I say marry, this is a ceremony that I have to conduct. Understand?
Like I said, I volunteer.
So you're just let's not do that right now.
Later's fine too.
I'm just telling you, this is what I have prepared. But,
Anna is
well,
blushing,
that didn't work.
But she is...
Oops.
I stare longingly at Anna.
man, he's like the stereotypical big brother. Like, you guys are hitting on his little sister in front of him. It's not going to go well for you.
Right? No
No one's
shit.
hitting on it.
One
I
definitely.
offered to
is.
officiate her.
You
Yeah,
offered to
Tara's
marry her in
definitely-
front of him first of all. You're like, I'm going to marry her.
That's not. Okay, Tara is definitely crossing the line, though.
Okay, Kenji.
Yeah. Kenny tried it earlier and he failed miserably, so we'll see how it goes.
I'm a lot more classy than Kenji, to be fair.
I wasn't around for the man, the myth, the legend, Kenji.
So, otherwise, unless there's anything else we need to do to prepare, anything, if anyone has any other ideas.
No.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. So you guys get using combination of Anna's knowledge of the city as well as Alaric's. And Anna's, you guys are able to make your way back to the castle relatively undetected. Also due to the fact that most of the streets are relatively empty due to the coronation. That's what's worked in your favor. You approach the castle from a angle, from a direction that you had not previously expected or previously known about. It does appear to be a secret route into the castle. There, waiting. As you approach, two figures step out of the shadows. One being Leave, the other one being Anand's mother, Torin. And true to what you had hypothesized, she is in her full armor, like battle dress, like ready to go. She took your warning seriously. And she bows when she sees Princess Anastasia.
Right. Well, let's get going then.
And Anna curtsies and introduces herself, and they sort of introduced, and Torin introduces herself to her as well. Then you guys proceed into the castle. You start off in a lower area, maybe like a sort of like a basement adjacent sort of thing, and you're going through like back passageways, like behind the walls, as it were. You make your way up to, you're going up, stairs and stuff, and you make your way up what you would estimate about 3 flights of stairs, and in front of you there's like a half sort of door that you think, Slizik, if you turned sideways and like squatted down, you could barely fit through, but it'd be a tight fit.
Oh boy, I'd do it or try.
But before the door opens, Alaric, who's in the front, stops you and says, this is where like the secret passageways end. This will open us up into the 3rd floor of the castle. There will be people to look out for, like guards and the like. First group of guards we see, I'm going to cast Zone of Truth on. I'm going to tell them to fail the save. Tell them to accept the spell. He would say that. He would accept the spell and answer my questions with yes or no. Failure to comply with those directions or to answer in a way that I find displeasing will result in them being killed by either myself or you. He's saying you, plural, as a party. Do you find that agreeable?
Entirely.
Sure.
All right. And with that, he opens the door a crack and looks through it. and then opens it wider and steps out and moves off to the side to allow more people through. You guys all do sort of go through without a problem. Onid and Tara, you have to sort of bend down a little bit, but due to your slight frame, you can still get through it just fine. Slizik, they let you go last because they probably foresaw that you would have this issue.
Aye.
Give me, let's see.
Oh, God.
Give me an athletics check with advantage.
Yeah, sure.
All right, yeah. So you're like struggling against the frame, and then you just sort of like get a leg, and you get one shoulder through, and then you're good in the clear. You sort of pop out like open a Pringles can.
Ah.
And so now that you are sort of in the castle proper, you can see that there appears to be a commotion going on, perhaps due to the recent disappearance of the princess. And you guys are trying to make your way as stealthily as possible to where the crown is kept, so you can retrieve it and so you can place it on. That's sort of like the official symbol of you being the ruler of Stormhaven. So you're trying to reach that, which is in the throne room, which is adjacent to the balcony. If I didn't explain it before, I'm sorry. And so you're heading in that direction, but unfortunately, there's not a lot of places to hide on a hallway like this. So you make it about a few minutes towards your destination where you are stopped by a group of guards, or they begin to approach you rapidly. And they do recognize at least the five of you as the favored guests of the princess. So they're trying to ask you, or begin to try to ask you, what's going on. Have you seen the princess? Where is she? And that's when Alaric, while they're distracted, casts Zone of Truth on them. And that's also when Anna will adjust her. I'm assuming she's wearing a hood as well, but she adjusts the hood so they can see her face better. And they see that it's her. And they sort of stop in their tracks. And Alaric says, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. You'll answer yes or no to them. If you answer in a way I don't like, one of my associates here will kill you.
Tara's tense and ready to go.
Yeah, I put my hand up like we're answering a question in class. I'll do it. Sure.
And he says, you can take turns if you want.
Yeah.
He says, do you wish harm upon the royal family of Stormhaven?
Well, just to be clear, we're the one answering these questions, not the
No,
guard.
the guards are. You're all fine. His primary reason is you would have murdered the princess in the church with the assassins there if you were actually going to betray them. So you're all fine. He's not answering you this. He's saying stand by in case they answer incorrectly to, make with the stabby on them.
Well, Tara has her sword out and is doing like what's that game the children play when they eeny, meeny, miny, mo? She's like going between them with the point of the sword.
He says, do you wish harm upon Princess Anastasia or other members of the royal family? And they reply, no. He says, do you wish harm upon the people of Stormhaven? They reply, no. Do you wish harm upon the city of Stormhaven or its surrounding lands? They reply, no. And then he says, do you serve Norath? And they reply, no.
Ask them if they know who it was that impersonated the people in the church.
He will say, are you aware of what recently transpired in the High Temple? And they will say no. He says, are you willing to fight and die for your queen? To that they reply, yes.
Well, I'll be the one doing the dying if she gets it. So
He says,
It's just
he
feel free
turns
to
to look at
swear
you
to
guys
me.
and says, I think they're good.
Well, did the spell work?
Oh yeah, it did.
yeah, sure.
Good enough.
Accurate knowledge. Stone of Truth, if they succeed, it tells you whether they failed or succeeded.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
All right, let's I guess pile on. Let's keep going.
All right. Luckily, now that you have this group of about 10 royal guards, they sort of they're sort of the I forgot the term. They're sort of traveling with them. You can allay all suspicion on your party. They're walking with haste. Alaric and Anna have told them their intent, and they're walking with haste to the throne room. No one really questions them. They're sort of those big people in a crowd that short people fall behind to sort of break the crowd for them.
Okay, well, I'm watching the crowd intently.
They're doing a marvelous job. So you don't. Most people you do pass are like other royal guards or maids hurriedly running about, like sort of in a semi-panic. And whenever you do, you see the knights sort of put their hands on their weapons, and then they relax when they have passed them.
All right, just keeping an eye out.
And so you guys finally make it to the throne room, where there's this you sort of enter into the room. There's this massive like off-white stormy gray carpet laid out, trimmed and inlaid with mithril, of course. Goes up to a sort of raised platform, atop which sits a throne cast in mithril. In front of that, there's like maybe a temporary plinth set up, just constructed of stone, and on it is a crown that, if you thought Anastasia's dress was a work of art, how it incorporated mithril into the weave, this is something else entirely. They're doing things with metal you didn't even know were possible. The degree of the fineness, the craftsmanship, it is quite obviously, this is quite obviously the crown of Stormhaven.
It's quite the treasure.
If you guys were dwarves, you would be blown away. You'd be like, you'd have to take a minute to like examine this thing, because it's like, oh. And then you guys are making your way towards it.
I'm kind of eyeballing it.
Oh yeah, at this time there's another group of guards who are approaching you, and they hail these group of guards and ask them what their business is here. And these guards that are on your side now, after they have survived Alaric's questioning, sort of form a semicircle around you and warn the other group of guards to stand back. There's sort of a standoff there. But while they're sort of like shielding you from the other guards, you guys approach this plinth with a crown on it, and Alaric will say to Tara, he says, I know you know how to detect magic. Would you like to check it for magical traps? If anyone can also detect poison, that'd be great.
Sure. Would you mind if I took 10 minutes?
He's looking at the guards arguing with each other. He's like, I don't know if we have 10 minutes.
She sort of wrinkles her nose and says, all right, fine. But if anything else happens, then I'm going to be down a trick up my sleeve. She'll cast Detect Magic using a spell slot.
All right. You don't detect any magic on this. No traces of magical traps. No magical effects on it whatsoever. Appears to be clean.
No magic, but I can't speak for poison.
All right.
Anand is going to use Mage Hand just to touch the crown, kind of wiggle it a little bit on the plinth, like make sure that there's no roguey style traps going on.
All right. So, yeah. Sure you didn't know if you do have a rogue here, but you didn't. But sure, yeah, you do mage hand poke it a little bit, and it moves with the poke, but nothing else happens.
If we have 10 minutes, I can detect poison and disease on it.
I mean, I could lick it.
That's maybe not good.
He's like the arguing has reached. It's like they're getting into it. He shakes his head. He's like, I can't believe I'm asking. He's like, go ahead, lick it. I'll prepare prestidigitation to clean it.
Well, okay, that's kind of offensive, but
you're literally putting saliva on this. It's going to go on a queen's head.
He doesn't care about your life. He cares about whether it's got spit on it.
Still, though, come on.
He's like, if you do take massive poison damage, I'll help you.
Oh, that's fucking beautiful. Anyways, fuck you. I'll see you at the other life, and I lick it.
Okay. It tastes like metallic. It tastes metallic. Nothing else.
Tastes like metallic.
Sorry, it tastes metallic, as in like. I'm sure you've being a pirate. You've
it's like pennies.
The stereotypical you licked your blade like a pirate, you know.
Yeah, sure. I licked my maul. It was way less
lizard tongue.
It was just super.
It's obviously metallic, but it's not like steel or anything. It's obviously something else, which you can see plainly. It's something else as well. But you're not paralyzed, knocked unconscious. Your mouth is not burning with an unpleasant sensation. So,
well,
you think it's good.
I'm not dead. So, that's pretty good, I guess. I guess try it on, sure.
All right. So, Alaric takes out a cloth and he prestos it, and then he wipes it as well.
Wow.
And
that's real low.
And he is now holding the crown in one hand. And he says, he says, they're sort of ask everyone to follow him, and you're following him to a sort of side room that leads down to a balcony that you see. And you hear them before you see them.
Oh boy.
But light is coming in through this, the open balcony here, this room you're in. And you can hear just a buzzing of a crowd outside. They're not cheering or anything, but it appears to be like just the ambient noise that happens when a lot of people are together just talking.
Rabble.
I suggest that someone precede the princess through the door.
Yep, right here.
All right.
I will be the tip of the spear.
People on there with the balcony to meet me on the lookout for assassins. I also need some people to make sure no one comes into this room.
I'm good at looking at things.
That's true. Yeah.
So Leave will say, "I'll make sure no one enters this room alive."
Okay. That's. I mean.
I think we can safely leave that to her.
Does that?
Be on the lookout for Andrea's web, just in case.
Yeah, don't let any zombies shuffle in.
Is it possible to like search the audience for like any kind of like planning or anyone who seems shifty? Is that what kind of check is that? Is that
Okay, so that's gonna be very difficult because it's a large crowd. It's like thousands of people, and you're also 3 stories up. At
Hey,
least.
Tara, you've still got check magic or detect magic up, don't you?
Yep, 10 minutes.
Crowd scan, crowd scan.
Yep.
It is 100 feet, I think. So you can get the front ranks of the crowd.
30 feet, I think.
yeah?
Okay, so you can get it doesn't reach the crowd then because the floor is about 11, 12 feet. But you can certainly look out. I will allow you to roll an insight to assess the general mood of the crowd.
Okay, I want to get my my guidance on that one. Oh wait, who's doing this? Is this okay? Does anybody?
Whoever's out on the
Are you-
balcony can do this.
I cannot
giving
roll
me-
for crap tonight.
Were you giving me guidance?
I'll give anybody guidance. Anyone and everyone. This is important. So
But not as bad as Asha.
Okay, it was
Am I rolling this?
It was a 16, so
Ooh.
Alistair's good too. But you guys, it's
I've
mostly
got a 24. If that,
yeah.
that's anything
What
extra.
you guys get is mostly a sense of confusion from the crowd. Like you can see them plainly like asking each other, like like what's going on. Like you can't hear the individual voices, what their body language is saying. Like they're confused. They're asking each other what's going on. They say, "I thought the coronation would be at this time. We have all these like doves ready to release. They're waiting in the wings. What are we gonna do?"
Yeah.
I'm gonna look to Alistair and I'm gonna say, "Could you do that again?" And I want to look through the crowd, or not even in the crowd, but like around on other rooftops, maybe, or any terrain that's evident there, looking for anybody that might be like an archer or poised to strike.
sure thing.
Okay.
Go ahead and do that again.
So you would know being an elf, you are proficient with longbows, so you would know the range of one.
True, and a sharpshooter could possibly shoot from 600 feet away.
That's true. So you would know that this plaza, this courtyard is massive, so they couldn't shoot from across it, like directly across from the you'd be looking at the sides to see that.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, basically anywhere that seems like would be a spot to shoot from.
All right.
Or that they could use one of those fancy guns, but I don't really know much about those.
You can roll.
Oh, jeez.
So
12.
the sun is pretty bright, and it's like reflecting off some of the stonework because of how it's polished and the mithril and the metal construction of the city. So you can't really see into any of those hiding spots you were looking for.
She frowns, but otherwise does nothing else.
All right. So you guys are sort of like I would say you're peeking around like the wall out into the balcony. You haven't presented yourself yet, if that makes sense. Unless you have.
I'm just staying like as close to the what's her name? Anna?
Anna.
Yeah, I'm just staying as close as possible.
So
Trying to look as mean as possible.
yeah, so what happens is you and Alaric, and behind you is Torin. And then there's the rest of the group, and then Anna's in the middle of you. And Leaves at she's invisible, but she's probably posted up around the door somewhere. And so you and Alaric walk into the balcony, onto the balcony, and once you just wait there for a moment, you're like scanning the crowd, looking around. No one has tried to murder you yet, so that's good.
Where's
But
my mama?
Torrin is right behind them.
Okay.
She's not as tall as she's not 6'1", and she's not 7 feet, so she's
invisible.
she's dwarfed by these people, but she's behind Alaric, ready to enact her duties as a clergy woman of Stormhaven. Alaric still has the crown in his hand, cradle in his hand. He's looking out at the crowd. People begin to notice, because the light is catching the crown, and they stop their talking and begin to look up at the balcony. And Alaric proclaims in a booming voice, so much so that you actually wince a bit, Slizik. He says, "We will now proceed with the coronation of the 100th Queen of Stormhaven. We apologize for the delay." Then he turns and he hands the crown to Torrin, and then he moves off to the side. And then Torrin steps forward with the crown and turns, and Alaric's giving you a look, so it's like you should step back. Yeah, sorry, it's close. It's Torun.
Oh, damn, close enough. Tell me to step back? Yeah, I'll step back.
Yeah, because like you're blocking the entryway into the balcony.
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
So basically how it looks like, let me draw this. Yeah, picture here. Yeah, picture here, freehand. So this is like the balcony, as it were. Torrin is like right here. This is Torrin. Yay. Next to her is Alaric. He's got his sword, but you don't see it right now. That's his sword. And there, out here on the other side, is a Dragonborn with like a rar head. And then
Yeah, sure.
he's got a giant maul.
That's me.
And then coming through is Anna. So she's going to be in the middle of the balcony, as it were.
Am I the Pac-Man man?
Yes.
Okay.
You got teeth, too.
Where is this beautiful
Oh, sweet.
Rar.
Awesome.
The people, you're facing the crowd, so too. So the people are all 3 stories down, right about here. Everyone else is like in the shadows. You can see the crowd. You can see you're behind on them, but you're like around here. If that makes
I
sense.
look like if Petey Piranha was a dude. If he was a stick man, that'd be me.
It's my beautiful art. You're just jealous.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's so nice.
It is.
But so
truly.
she walks forward. Doesn't look as fancy as she did earlier in the day, but she looks, good enough. And then, like, you see that Torrin is like trying to be like on it. You see this because you know your mother. She's like trying to be super serious and like stiff upper lip, but you can see like a little tear at like corner of her eye. But just like trying to maintain this hard set face.
She's so excited she gets to crown a queen.
And then it's as Anna steps through onto the balcony, it's just dead silence. And then Torrin, your mother, replies or starts speaking in a booming voice similar to Alaric, but she turns she turns her upper body to face the crowd. And she says, "Do you, Anastasia Hess, swear in the presence of all the aspects in heaven and the people gathered here today to uphold the laws of Stormhaven and protect its citizens and its lands and to act in their best interests?" And then she says, "Yes," also boomed out. And then she says, Then by the power vested in me by both Arya and Solara, I now pronounce you the 100th Queen of Stormhaven. May your rule be long, prosperous, and blessed by all the aspects. And as she says that, she holds out the crown. Anna sort of kneels a little bit, so she's lower, and then she places it very delicately on his head. And then she sort of rises back up and turns to the crowd, and then just does like a little wave while smiling, and then they go absolutely nuts. Like they're like cheering and yelling and hollering. You see like things thrown into the air, doves are released. It's a good time for all those present. And now you can see that your mom is now, in fact, like you can see that the tears coming down, and she's smiling too. So very,
Huzzah!
very emotional moment. But Anna gets to sort of, as everyone's sort of partying in the courtyard below, Anna gets this sort of determined look on her face, and she motions for the crowd to be quiet, and after some time they do, and then she addresses them. She says, "Good people of Stormhaven, I am so pleased and relieved to finally address you as your queen, and I apologize for the delay and confusion on what would normally be a joyous day. Unfortunately, my first address to you will be anything but.
All right.
I bring you grave news from Bryn. The city was attacked and destroyed by the armies of Norath. With few citizens of Bryn that managed to escape, fled here to Stormhaven and surrounding territories, where they pleaded for my aid. And while neighbors, I was initially reluctant to assist Bryn, as my top priority must be the safety of my own people and lands. However, I am afraid I can no longer remain so cautious, as Norath has made a grave mistake. They sent agents to disrupt this very coronation, and even managed to infiltrate Stormhaven's clergy. Their assassins attacked and almost killed me while I was praying in the High Temple. It was only thanks to the efforts of these brave individuals that I stand before you now." And she's motioning to you all. "As a proud citizen of Stormhaven, I hope that you would not let this transgression go unanswered. Not only did they attempt to kill your queen, but they also killed your high priest and desecrated our most holy places. This cannot and will not stand. I hope you all join me and support our army as we move to better secure our lands and our future by destroying the threat that is Norath. May Arya and her aspects bless us in our efforts in the coming days. Thank you." And then she bows and enters back into the castle. And there's a sort of stunned silence at first from the crowd. They obviously didn't expect this to happen. But then, as you all sort of turn to leave as well, you hear this chant begin to form, and they're like banging their feet on the stone, and it's very eerie because it's all almost in unison. They're saying, "Down with Norath, down with Norath, down with Norath."
Ooh.
It appears the citizenry is pumped up.
That is slightly disturbing.
It's good. I mean, they're bad people.
They are very bad people indeed.
But that will be, so we'll wrap up soon. But after the coronation, Anna just almost collapses because it's been an eventful day for her. But Alaric supports her. He takes the ring off her finger, takes the ring back from you, Slizik, and says, "Well, I think we've had an eventful day for all of us. Leave, knights, and it appears that the arguing knights have sort of gone separate ways now that Anastasia's been crowned queen. But the knights that they have been approved by Alaric and sort of vouch for with Zone of Truth come forward along with leave. He says, I leave Queen Anastasia in your capable hands. I have a lot of work to do. I'm sure you all must be tired as well. He's talking to your group now. If you want, you can return to your rooms and try to relax. I'll try to talk with you guys as soon as I'm able.
I mean, I'm heading out for a night of debauchery. I'm assuming that it's a party outside.
There's parties outside. There's also well, it's probably a little bit not as enthusiastic, but they will be having a feast here as well.
Yeah, I joined him in that.
I'm gonna spend the night trying to stir up revolutionaries and like anti. Okay, so the name of this. How would you say they're like the nation?
Norath.
Norathians?
Yeah, they're Norath, and the citizens are called Norathians.
Okay.
Whereas Stormhavens are called Stormhaven Knights.
I just want to stir up like anti-Norathian sentiment. There is like.
All right, that will be some persuasion checks.
Oh,
Can
no.
Can I be the guy like his accomplice that like pretends like I don't know him, but I'm like, yeah, good idea.
Yeah, you can give an advantage if you want to, but basically, Alaric has intimated to you that he has a lot of Zone of Truth to begin casting, so he's going to go to work. Meanwhile, Leave and the guards he've already approved will safeguard Anna.
That's about right.
Anand is going to go with her mother back to the High Temple because she wants to know what the fuck was up with those dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shara is doing that as well.
Alaric is getting with Torrent too and asking her to also start with her temple and cast Zone of Truth on the people. He says, make sure you do what I did. Tell them or make sure they fail. The spell takes hold of them. Make sure they can only answer yes or no, so they can't weasel their way out of it. And make sure everything in your temple is in order, and then begin to go to other temples that follow Solara, and then we'll at least have one a group of temples dedicated to one aspect that we know is safe. But I'm going to start with the castle first, and then work my way out. And then once your temple is, once everyone is vouched for in your temple, begin to go to the other ones. If there are any Norathian agents, we need to make sure, he says essentially, we need to make sure there's no Norathian agents still in the city by morning.
Oh, that sounds like
Sounds
a
like
job.
it's going to be a long night. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so wait, is the plan to secure the High Temple and then the Solara temples, or
No,
just the
so
Solara?
the plan is Alaric's going to start at the castle, work his way here. Torn is going to go to the Temple of Light, where she works, and start there. From there, she'll go to all the other temples that are dedicated to Solara. So they know, like, followers or clergymen of Solara are good, you know? And then they'll go to the other temples.
Cool. Anand's going to go with her mom and do some murders if necessary, because, you know, why not?
All
And
right.
some bonding.
So,
Yeah, family bonding time,
So-
murders and healing.
Yep.
healing and killing. So,
Tara's
Alistair,
gonna go
due to Anna's speech and sort of reverence they place in their rulers of Stormhaven that started all the way since the founding of the city, the check is not that high. So you actually get a lot of people that are agreeing with you.
Huzzah!
They're talking about wanting to sign up to join the army. or at very least a militia or a defensive force to protect Stormhaven or its lands. And so a lot of them are like promising me that they'll definitely sign up in the morning. So we can't let those Norathian bastards get away with this.
Stormhaven, sorry. It's not on the water, is it?
No.
No, it is literally
It
in
is?
the mountain.
Yeah, okay.
It is, but it's a river.
Okay.
It's a river that starts in the mountains and goes down, essentially.
Yeah, fair enough.
Down elevation.
Certainly do a blockade, for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, we're, oh man. So we know they hit Stonebridge, did they?
Yeah, so what you guys know is that they sacked Bryn, but you were headed across the Redain, and you saw them, you were here. Oh, that's your draw.
Like there?
Yeah, you got to Redain, you got to the river, and you were about to cross it when you noticed that, oh shit, a lot of them are crossing the river. And so you booked it back to Bryn and informed them that they were crossing the river Redain. And as you were there, you saw the army setting up, because I believe one of you sent your familiar ahead. He had warned them with a note. And so they were prepared to face an attack from the Redain River from the south. Unfortunately, the Norathians also sent forces up the Silver Strand to Stonebridge and sacked that first so they could flank.
Hmm.
So they attacked here. Bryn was set up to meet them head on, but they had forces coming from Stonebridge to hit them from the side.
And so
Okay.
all of the refugees are currently in Wintervale
Yeah.
because they wouldn't let them pass from Wintervale into Storm.
Okay.
I want to go to the High Temple and examine that creepy dude.
All right. So I'm going to end session. If you guys have anything you want to do, because based on what happened in this session, just message me that, and I'll write it in to next session and stuff like that.
Alrighty.
All right. But I'm going to end the recording right there. I'll still be around for a little bit to talk if anyone has anything to talk about.